Hey Heartlanders! In today's interview, I interviewed Jessica Steen, who plays Lisa Stillman on Heartland. She has such a fun personality. I know you guys are really going to enjoy watching this interview all about her life on Heartland. Watch this.
I know that you've worked on many things, but Heartland's probably one of the ones you've been on the longest, I would think, right?
Oh, yeah. It's the longest running Canadian drama in history.
That's awesome. Right. Yeah, you were right in the beginning. Now, how do you like that? Like, how has that been? Because you've been on many different shows. How different is that than being on another show where you're just there for a couple of days?
Well, it's initially auditioned to play Maggie. And so I read that part and we shot that and sent it in. And then I was asked to read for Lisa. And you just would never have guessed that it turned into this long a job. Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, we 2-3 episodes, maybe, and a bit of an arc with Jack. And then, but yeah, it just evolved.
And how is that working with Shaun Johnston? I mean, he's such a great guy.
Well, we had all done a show together before Heartland. So we had known each other, briefly doing a thing called High Country. And so, yeah, it was originally called Big Horn. And then they had the good sense to change it to High Country. It was good to see each other again. And we have such a good friendship. And we hang out together on the weekends. And
how strange was it to see him in I'm sure in High Country he played like his own age. Was it strange to see him as like in the makeup and?
Well, I mean, good for him. Hey, I mean, that's quite a coup to be given the opportunity. Because in life we're 7 years apart, I think.
Right.
Yeah, something like that. 6 or 7 years, I think, apart. And so for him to have gotten the opportunity to put it all on and be someone else, and that it has sustained all this time, and he just stays the same, and I get older and fatter. It's not fair.
You'll be happy to know this then, because Michael Weinberg said he said that the character of Jack in the books is like boring, and he said, and he wanted to give Jack a hot wife so that he had something to do. So I wanted to tell you that because I thought that was
Michael Weinberg. He knows just what to say. Smart, funny, and very successful wife. I think is
and very prophetic. Everything he says comes true. It's so annoying. Every single thing. The King of Heartland. That's right.
Yeah.
So you were in the U.S. this past year. Was that for work or was that just for fun?
Well, I lived there for so long. I moved to New York in '89, and then I moved to LA in '91, long before you were born, I'm sure. And I was, so home was LA for 30 years.
You're a little bit like Lisa then, because you do like to travel, and you seem like you're very career oriented, also, just like Lisa is in the story.
There are similarities. Yes, absolutely. And there were times when, not as much anymore, but there were times back in, I don't know, like how long back, but where I would read the script and I was like, oh, now it's really dark, isn't it? It's like I live in a tomb. But there were times when I would read the script and think, someone reading my mail, or it would be very similar, and it was like, how do they know this? Yeah, it's like that's a little close to home, but yeah.
Did that make it a little easier for you as people have gotten to know you? You've been on so many different shows and in movies, so people know you.
Well, I mean, I guess people think they do.
Yeah, they think that. Exactly.
They get, you show bits of yourself doing different parts. You parts of me that come out more here and there and whatever. But I think there's a lot of things people don't know in that regard.
Yes, right. Because people see you on the screen, you don't really have that immediate connection to the fans, so you don't realize how many people are seeing you and maybe being affected by it emotionally. Like Heartland is a really huge show where the people are affected by emotionally, for example.
I learned that lesson the hard way, kind of, when I did a show called Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. And it was a very kind of dark, post-apocalyptic sci-fi, robotic, and there was a constant battle against good. Anyway, but I came to understand, because of the fans, how me being the only female on the show and being the pilot of the ship influenced a lot of young girls. And I would get and all of a sudden, once I started getting mail that, really realizing how much it was impacting young women, I was like, that's a big responsibility. It was a aha epiphany moment that what you choose to work on, what roles you choose to take, and where you put your energy and how you contribute to the social fabric of and culture, and how you represent women and all that stuff, it's important. And so
it is,
because
one of the reasons people are so passionate about Heartland is because it is such a positive show. There's no swearing for the most part. There's no really drastic violence. It really resonates with people, and it's really unique. There's not a lot of shows like it.
I think I am extremely happy to work on a show that is kind to your heart and kind to and things, there are things, issues that come up, and we have struggles, and people come together. There's life, but I say there are friends of mine that I have said, don't watch the news before you go to bed. You don't go to bed thinking about all the terrible things that are happening in the world. Don't do that. Watch Heartland. And so there are a lot of my friends, like, women who will watch Heartland before going to bed.
But it is so soothing like that. And actually, Heather was saying it's like therapy. I mean, and she writes it, and she's saying that, and it's so true. I think for so many people, I come across that, and people have come terrible things in their lives, like whether one of their sons died, or their wife dies, and they just become so attached to the show because it helps them through life. I think it's so awesome that way, and it's so unique that way. You don't find a lot of interesting shows that have that kind of effect on people.
I mean, and because for instance, there's so many women in the house now, right? There's like 5 of us, right? And we're all at different stages of our lives, right? And I've said to Heather, and I were talking earlier this year, and I said, listen, feel free to write about menopause or about hot flashes or about what, because that's where I'm at. And any kind of that kind of issue isn't really dealt with in the world. And I'm like, on my life now at 57 is very different from the character that Bae plays, right? So we're at ends of the spectrum, but having that many women in the house is interesting. And
it is.
I
think that's awesome, because like you said, there's different people watching, and I think even if someone's younger or older, they could relate to that.
Oh yeah. I think it's, there's plenty of fun to be had with it as well, because it's ridiculous. And menopause is such a huge thing. So many women going through it. We don't talk about it. It's one of those topics we don't talk about, but it's a big deal.
And I love the way they talk about things in Heartland. People talk about the character you have now, Rick Adderley, who's a new gay character. And there's some people, in the US at least, Heartland has a huge religious fan base here.
Yes.
So, some people are on, either side of that, but everyone loves the way Heartland approaches the topic. It's just regular life, just like it is for everybody. It's not in your faith. It's not preaching it. And that's what's so wonderful about the way it's written in the stories.
And the more you talk about things, the more they are a part of life, right? And there's certain things that aren't talked about, that the more we talk about it, the more, that's the way that is. That's the way that's the way it is for you. And we come to be more empathetic and compassionate about
empathy. That's such the heart of the show. And Mrs. Bell, I know you were Anna Ferguson. I love her.
Well, the other thing too is that her daughter and I went to high school together.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I want Wanda Cannon to come back too.
Oh yeah,
Always,
she's
because
another one.
because the stuff between
Yes,
the friction between the two ladies was really fun for us to
I
play.
know. Awesome. She was so good as Val.
She was so good as Val, and she is nothing like Val. Like, she is the antithesis of Val. She's just the most wonderful, lovable, darling person on the planet. I describe Heartland as, sort of the, was before your time too, but the Waltons, or Little House on the Prairie, modern, updated
Yes.
and with current issues. But yeah, that it's like,
And that's what's so great about
things
it.
work out. That's the best
Yeah.
part, right? Things work out, and yeah,
Right.
get
It
wrapped
might
up.
not be the way you want, but they do work out. And that's what, what's so awesome about Heartland. Oh, we got over that hump of, tie dyeing.
I feel like, as I'm sure Amber is, and everybody said, like, death happens. That's life. Life happens, and hard things happen. And to avoid that would be untrue. And the fact that it worked for Graham, saw the value in, Amy carrying on, and the family trying to get over, or to come together to try to carry on together, is important for people to see.
But with Heartland, it's amazing. It's like this is hump where people were upset about it, and now they're starting to realize, like you said, that there's value in seeing that storyline.
Yeah,
And continuing on.
seeing how someone copes, and how people come together, and to see to see Amy be strong for her daughter, and
Yes. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
That little Lindy, she is so cute. You are
She's
so lucky to get
adorable.
to work with her.
They're so sweet. I mean, adorable. And I think, as you said, I think once someone comes on, then they write, they can tailor things more to that person. And yeah.
I mean, that's what's so amazing about the writers on Heartland, that they have that ability. You don't see that in a lot of other shows. Just they have that ability to take what the person's like and add it into the storyline in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
She's just so cute. I mean, you just
Yeah,
can't watch your scenes without being like, oh my God.
Well, and I mean, not only are they really wonderful to work with, and they're, and they swap out, right? They take turns, and they love being there, and that, it makes a huge difference. And they're, as you've seen, Katie, there's been, and I don't know how, the fans roll with that, but clearly they have. And there's some people want to be there more than others, and as a kid, you don't know if the child is really like, is this for me or not?
Did you start acting as a child? Actually, I was just wondering that too.
I did one series with my mom when I was 8, really short thing, and then after that, my mom was like, if you want to do this, because she's an actor also, like, my parents were in the business, and they said, if you want to do it, you do it. We are not going to take you there. We're not going to, and my mom was really kind of not wanting me as a child to do it. No. And she knew firsthand, she didn't want me to be all about my hair and my looks, and am I good enough? She just didn't want me to focus on those things, because it had been a part of her life. And what if you find your way there, then you obviously are motivated, and it's something you've done. Not that
are
you
Canadian by birth?
Oh yeah.
Are you from?
Yeah.
Okay, you are.
Oh yeah.
But it represents Canada too so nicely. And
I love that.
We learned so much from it. We learned nothing about Canada and the US. We really learned nothing. So I've learned so much from the show.
I feel like, I think CBC, it's kind of the national channel, and it's kind of their responsibility to represent all the different parts of, it's such a huge country, and there is such diversity, and there are so many cultures, and so many, one province to the next, and one end to the other. It's like, having representation of all the different parts of the country is really great. And there have been, over time, Republic of Doyle on the east, and the Beachcombers on the west. So I mean, it is, and here we are representing the middle. So it's the Western world here. Yeah.
It's so neat because I mean, most people in the whole world, we wouldn't have any idea that Alberta was like that. We wouldn't know anything about the life in Canada except for
Yeah.
Heartland.
It's funny that I remember in grade 11, the whole year was spent on American history.
I know that's the difference.
Americans have no idea.
You know that from living in LA. We have no idea. We don't learn anything about Canada.
No, I know.
It's sort of sad. It's really sad.
Well, we are up
So,
here.
I always wondered one thing. This is just my personal question about Heather. I always thought that maybe Heather wrote your character close to her. I mean, she's older than you, obviously, but I mean, I just felt like there was something about your character that was, because when I met her too, I feel like there was something about, do you feel like that? Do you ever feel like there's something?
Well, I would love to think so. And I,
she's awesome.
yeah, I hope so. And I hope if she, and to whatever degree that is true, I hope that she's happy with, you know, the way that I've taken what she's written and represented it the way she saw it, you know, the way she wrote it. I would hope that.
I know people are worried about the fact that her and Alex are going to be doing another show.
I've always been in awe of the hats that Heather wears and she has the ability to do so much at all times and remain calm. And I don't worry for a second that she's going to be able to.
She's always calm. I think it's her baby.
Yeah.
And she's obviously done a fantastic job.
And it's great that Alex also, you know, is a writer and that they get to spend time together and the granddaughter. So it's like awesome that they're together.
It is awesome. But I have to tell you, working with I have a teenage daughter, but like, I don't know.
Do you really?
I'd love to talk to Alex about that.
Really?
I would love to talk to Alex about that and see how that works.
Yeah.
I was
mother-daughter teams.
I really appreciate your time. It was so awesome talking to you, and I hope that
so
next
great to
year
talk to you too.
I talk to you again. For season 17.
Sure, let's do it.
And I forgot to ask you: is there anything that Lisa does in season 16 that's really awesome that you can tell us about?
Well, we're only just part way in, and I don't even know what's happening. I don't know the arc of the season. Just as we get the script, that's when I know. So I mean, more good stuff.
Yay! Awesome. Let me know
more
that.
Good stuff.
Heartland.
More juicy good stuff. Yeah.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you, Jessica.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Take care.
You too.
And thank you for doing what you're doing. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And don't forget to like and subscribe for more great videos all about Heartland. More interviews coming soon. Bye for now.